you don't need to go skydiving. You just need to go to the drop zone, and then you'll want to go skydiving, right? So exactly. So go hang out with the people, and then you'll want to go. You don't worry about the skydiving yet. Just go to the drop zone.
Hey guys, it's your girl Eccaia, and you're watching Spill It. It's a show that gives you a glimpse into the performer's mindset and reveals the person behind the persona. Joining us today in the virtual Spill It studio is Master Parachute Rigger Rob Dryburgh. As a member of the Canadian Armed Forces SkyHawks Parachute Team, Rob had made 508 skydives when a parachuting accident forced him to medically release from the military. If you've wondered what it takes to become a master parachute rigger with the Skyhawks and could use a dash of inspiration in the face of extreme adversity, then this is the episode for you. Before we get started, I wanted to shine the spotlight on Youth Opportunities Unlimited. Since 1982, Youth Opportunities Unlimited has helped lead youth in London and Middlesex County towards success. They believe that investing in youth and strong communities go hand in hand and envision a community where youth are embraced and will thrive. To learn more, visit u.ca. If you can, give, and if you need support, reach out. Rob, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Lyle, thanks for having me.
Let's kick things off talking about the Canadian Armed Forces. That's definitely a big decision. How did you tell your family and friends that you were joining the military?
Yeah, well, I kind of told them all one-on-one, took them all aside, so it wasn't any big announcement or anything like that, but kind of just showed my interest throughout the months leading up to it. And my old man was taking me back and forth, and I thought the coolest thing ever before joining the military was the fact that they pay you to go to the recruiting office. So they'll pay you for gas money to go there. So I was getting paid for even going to do the paperwork. So I was already ecstatic, right? So yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
And what do you remember about the day you enlisted?
The day I enlisted, I remember being terribly nervous.
Of
It was
course.
actually only the second time I had ever been on a plane, and the first time
Oh,
was I was a young kid. I was only 1 years old, so I hadn't even remembered it. So it was
oh my
my yeah. So I went to the airport here in London, Ontario, with my old man, and he kind of just like gave me the ins and outs of the airport and stuff, and away I went. Right. So I actually ran into a few people at the airport, which kind of calmed my nerves. A few of the people that were joining as well, it kind
goodness.
of calmed my
Well, that's
nerves about the
nice.
whole thing. Right. So it was nice. And then obviously when you we flew from London to Quebec is where we did our basic training, and once we got there, we met a whole bunch of people, and that's kind of when it all happened. When there was hundreds of people around, right, and
Oh
you
my
just meet all
goodness.
kinds of people all of a sudden, and then the instructors are screaming at you where to go and stuff to grab your luggage and everything, and away you go to the mega, they called it back. I think they might still call it that, but it's a huge military base for all the basic training.
Wow. It sounds like it. And was there any thing that you had to do in particular that was really fun or very exciting?
Yeah, I'd say that all of it was exciting, but my favorite parts were definitely the obstacle course when we did they have a
Oh, of
really
course.
big, it's kind of intimidating obstacle course, and you see the videos before you go and everything.
Do you remember any funny moments that happened?
Oh, there was a lot of funny moments that happened for sure. Biggest funny moment that sticks out to me is I met Rick Mercer one time.
And is there someone that you served with that inspired you?
Yeah, there was a lot of people, but one person in particular, his name's Ron, and him and another guy, they were when I showed up to the parachute depot to do my training, they were the first guys to say hello to me and like kind of took me under their wing, and they were really nice
Oh,
to me and stuff. And what happened to this poor guy is he had over about 100 skydives, and he was slated to go to the Skyhawks Parachute Team where I was going. And unfortunately for him, he was just walking down the road one night down in California where we used to work to do our parachute training, and he just tripped over something. He was kind of climbing a ledge, and he tripped and he hit his head, and he has permanent brain damage until this day and stuff. When I was getting him into my head about the bad stuff that could happen, you just kind of got to train yourself to start thinking about the good things, right? So and what you're going to experience doing it. So it's all about the mindset, right?
you got to focus on the positives that will come out of it instead of everything that could go wrong.
If you talk to some of the greatest skydivers in the world, they'll tell you that they're thinking about their jump more than they're doing their jump, right? So it's all about like thinking about how visualizing how you want it to look, just bringing yourself to that positive place, right?
And what would you say is the most challenging part about military life?
For me, it was just being away from family. And I went down to Arizona, and it was probably one of the better experiences in my career, just because simply I learned so much in such a short amount of time. I've never like pushed my mind to learn that much information in such a short period of.
It just goes to show if you put in a little more work, so much will come out of it.
Yes, the payoffs are good for sure.
What made you decide that skydiving was something that you really wanted to do?
I never really even thought about it, to be quite honest with you. It never crossed my mind or anything. If it ever crossed my mind, I probably was like, "No way, I'll never skydive," right? But when those parachute riggers walked in and they showed us those videos of the recruiting, right? Those guys were all jumping and they were doing the parachute formations like the Skyhawks do and stuff, and it was very cool. Ever since then, that's all I could think about.
Oh,
So
well,
yeah, so once they showed me that videos, that was basically it for me. I went home that night and watched about every skydive video they had on the internet back then, and
and you've made over 508 jumps while with the Skyhawks. Do you have a favorite jump memory that you'd like to share?
my favorite jump was Canada Day in 2016. We were at Parliament Hill for Fortissimo, it's called. And so the first night, actually, it was not a good jump. So the first night we jumped at Parliament Hill, it was very windy and very
Oh,
cloudy. Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, weren't able to bring our formations together. And we were pretty scared too, right? Because in downtown Ottawa, our options were very limited. It was basically the Ottawa River. Parliament Hill or a building somewhere, right? So we chose to land on the grassy strip at Parliament Hill, fortunately. And
yes.
but then the next day, the weather cleared up completely, and I'd never had a better skydive in my life. I mean, jumping over the capital city in Canada,
Yeah.
Parliament Hill on Canada Day weekend, and with the crowd cheering and everything, and it was just absolutely beautiful.
What is your favorite part in general of skydiving?
It's the closest you'll get to human flight, right? So
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being ready to spill it with us, Rob. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
no problem. Thank you.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to end here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head on over to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, share, and get involved. Until next time, Eccaia, out.